Hard times create strong humans. Strong humans create good times. Good times create weak humans, and weak humans create hard times. In the vast expanse of our modern era, where technological marvels seem to signal our pinnacle as a civilization, a paradox emerges. This paradox is manifested as a growing undercurrent of neurosis and disillusionment. Why, in our age of abundance, do we feel an ever-deepening void? A direct answer risks oversimplification, yet one cannot overlook the growing chasm between our exterior lives and our innermost self. Eons ago, ancient philosophies and spiritual doctrines illuminated humanity's path, grounding us in the cosmic order and the rhythms of our own souls. Today, smartphones, substances, and cheap dopamine have replaced those traditions of old, alienating us from the natural order of things. Yet, hope is not extinguished. For those who sense this dissonance, who feel the pull towards something deeper, an age-old path still beckons, promising a realm of profound self-awareness. And in today's video, we are going to explore 10 transformative and practical ways to embrace and embody this timeless wisdom. Welcome to Agrippa's Diary, the gathering place for mystical seekers. 1. Self-awareness. The journey towards self-realization and inner harmony begins with understanding oneself. The ancient maxim, "Know thyself," inscribed at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi in Greece, encapsulates this timeless principle perfectly. In the Jungian paradigm, this maxim is further evolved in the process of individuation, where one seeks to integrate the conscious with the unconscious parts of their psyche, leading to self-actualization. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Spiritual alchemy, which Jung began studying in the latter part of his life, further offers introspective tools that allow one to explore the depths of their subconscious in search of their inner gold. Recognizing oneself, with all the strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears, forms the bedrock of any transformative journey. Many alchemical stages can be interpreted as metaphors for inner transformation or the process of individuation. The formula for inner transformation is the following, each alchemical stage corresponding to one's inner transformation steps. The first step is calcination. This represents the initial stage of breaking down the ego, false beliefs, and preconceived notions. It's a process of self-examination and confrontation with one's shadow or darker aspect. Like the process of heating a substance to reduce it to ashes in a lab, it's about reducing the self to its base elements, acknowledging flaws and imperfections. Following the destruction or breaking down in calcination, dissolution is the further dissolving of those ashes. In personal transformation, this is the stage where the rigid structures of our psyche begin to dissolve, leading to a more fluid and adaptable state of being. It's an acceptance of chaos and uncertainty, letting go of old constructs. Separation involves discerning what's valuable from what's not, differentiating between the parts of oneself that should be nurtured and those that should be discarded. In terms of inner growth, it means being able to distinguish between useful and unhelpful thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. After the process of separation comes conjunction, which involves combining and synthesizing the valuable parts that remain. It represents a union of opposites, such as the conscious and unconscious mind or the masculine and feminine aspects of oneself. This stage brings about a sense of wholeness and integration. Fermentation introduces new life to the previously cleansed and united materials. In spiritual growth, it's akin to a rebirth or enlightenment, where new insights and inspiration emerge, often following a period of darkness or depression. In laboratory alchemy, the process of distillation purifies the substance. In the realm of personal transformation, it refers to further refining our consciousness, transcending our baser impulses, and getting closer to our true, pure essence. This stage is about elevating our awareness and understanding. The final stage, coagulation, is the realization of the magnum opus, or the great work. It's the creation of the philosopher's stone in alchemical terms. In personal development, it signifies achieving a new level of consciousness, where the individual is fully integrated, whole, and has achieved a true understanding of themselves and their place in the universe. 2. Embracing the shadow. We hear this often, But what does it truly mean to embrace our shadow? Philosophers believed that confronting our darker, less understood side was not an act of combat, but one of understanding. Jung, for example, stated, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." From an esoteric standpoint, this darkness isn't inherently evil. It's simply the lesser-known, less explored part of ourselves. By acknowledging this fact, one can start the alchemical process of transmutation, turning our base emotions and repressed aspects into gold, a more refined understanding of ourselves. The shadow, often described as the unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not recognize in itself, is a reservoir of our denied and suppressed aspects. Yet for Jung, the confrontation with the shadow represented a rite of passage to attaining self-awareness. The realm of the shadow, according to Carl Jung, houses those parts of ourselves that we'd rather not acknowledge, yet they are integral to our complete understanding. It is in the acceptance and integration of the shadow that true growth and self-actualization occur. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung said, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Beyond mere realization, embracing the shadow can catalyze profound spiritual growth, making it an essential part of the individuation process. Practically, one can approach this through dedicated practices like regular self-reflection and dream journaling to unlock the messages from the subconscious and understand emotional triggers that might hint at buried aspects of the self. 3. The middle pillar exercise. Within the vast lexicon of Hermetic Kabbalah, the middle pillar ritual stands out as a potent method for inner balance. Rooted in the esoteric traditions of the Western mystery schools, this exercise seeks to activate and harmonize the energy centers, or sephiroth, along the central column of the tree of life. The middle pillar is the balance achieved between the pillars of mercy and severity. It represents harmony between opposing forces, a space where transformation and ascension are possible. To awaken the middle pillar is to awaken the divine in man, harmonizing the lower self with the higher self, connecting the earthly with the divine. The ritual has been lauded for its benefits, such as energizing the self and aligning with one's spiritual center. In implementing the middle pillar ritual, one aligns with this idea, seeking solutions to inner imbalances within the very fabric of the teachings. If you are looking for a step-by-step guide on how to practice the middle pillar ritual, consider joining my Patreon group, where we study and discuss such practices in greater detail. 4. Mindfulness and present moment awareness. Mindfulness is a term many are familiar with in the modern age, but its roots reach deep into ancient esoteric and spiritual practices. Hermetic wisdom and alchemical teachings both emphasize the importance of being fully present. As stated in the Kybalion, the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. True understanding can only be achieved when one is wholly present, attentive, and mindful. From an alchemical perspective, every moment holds the potential for transformation. By being fully present, we can extract the gold from even the most mundane experiences. It's all about our perspective on things, but that perspective must be first unlocked. Practically speaking, cultivating mindfulness can be as simple as engaging in breathwork, grounding exercises, or daily meditation practices. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we align more harmoniously with our dual nature, allowing both parts to exist and express freely. In the words of Carl Jung, the here and now is the vastest field of all. It contains the entire past and is the dwelling place of the future. Thus, by truly living in the present, we harmonize our past, present, and future, resolving the duality within and solving the paradox of time. 5. Dialogue with the self. At the crossroads of Jungian psychology and ancient esoteric practices lies the powerful technique of active imagination. As proposed by Jung, this method facilitates a dialogue with the unconscious and its various figures, providing a bridge between the known and the unknown within oneself. The most important question anyone can ask is, what myth am I living? Jung once pondered. While engaging in active imagination, one can explore this personal myth, navigate the symbolic landscapes of the psyche, and engage in meaningful conversations with inner archetypes. Another potent tool in this dialogue is journaling, which not only offers a means of introspection, but also chronicles one's spiritual journey. To apply this in daily life, one might engage in guided sessions of active imagination followed by reflection writings, creating a tapestry of inner experiences over time. 6. Balancing the masculine and feminine. Every individual possesses both masculine and feminine energies. When those two energies are balanced and integrated into perfect harmony, a sacred process occurs referred to in alchemical and hermetic traditions as the alchemical wedding, or the conjunctio. Carl Jung beautifully expressed this concept, stating, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. This transformative power of union helps one harmonize the relationships with others, but also with the self. To balance these energies within, one can engage in practices that cultivate each energy. Historically, alchemists aimed for this union in their quest for the philosopher's stone, while on a personal level, it translates to the harmonization of assertiveness, which corresponds to masculine energy, and receptiveness, which corresponds to feminine energies within an individual. To incorporate this balance in daily life, one might alternate between activities that cultivate assertiveness like decision-making and leadership with those that train receptiveness, such as listening, introspection, and nurturing. 7. The art of visualization. Visualization is a cornerstone in the transformative processes of both alchemy and Hermeticism. Through vivid mental imagery, alchemists would symbolically guide materials through various stages of transmutation. Similarly, in Hermetic practices, adept visualization enhances one's ability to manifest desired outcomes on both spiritual and material planes. The all is mind, the universe is mental, as declared by the Kybalion, underlines the potency of thought and visualization. Techniques to refine this art include guided visual meditations, where one journeys through alchemical landscapes, as well as affirmation-based visualizations, wherein one anchors a desired outcome or state of being with powerful resonant words. 8. Study and continuous learning. Most people stop learning after they finish college or get their first job. For them, life becomes a routine, an endless loop of dissatisfaction. The quest for inner harmony and understanding of dual natures is an ongoing process, and study remains its faithful companion. As the Hermetic axiom goes, knowledge is the key to immortality. Regular engagement with profound texts sharpens one's inner tools, broadening perspective and enhancing the depth of personal introspection. Beyond passive reading, active contemplation and discussion can further illuminate the teachings, creating a continuous loop of learning and application. This is why it's important you spend time with like-minded individuals and people that are on the same path. In some cases, the only way to escape our programming and conditioning is to live a life of solitude. If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. 9. Ritual and daily practices. Rituals, often seen as symbolic actions performed with intent, play a pivotal role in grounding and connecting with higher truths in both Hermetic and alchemical traditions. From simple morning grounding exercises to more intricate ceremonies, they serve as reminders of the sacredness of everyday life. Engaging in nightly reflections allows one to process and integrate the day's experiences, while protective meditations act as shields against discordant energies. The key, regardless of complexity, is consistency, imbuing each day with purpose and reverence. Remember, our ascent in life should be vertical, a continuous journey towards higher knowledge. And finally, 10. Seeking guidance. Throughout the ages, guidance has been seen as invaluable in the world of esoteric studies. From the time when the mysteries of Egypt acted as initiation schools for humans of all social classes, to the mysteries of Eleusis in ancient Greece and the cult of Mithras in ancient Rome, to discrete and interconnected modern groups like the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians, profound esoteric knowledge has been passed and inherited from master to pupil. The path to understanding and harmonizing one's inner and spiritual world is intricate and often filled with nuances that can be illuminated under the tutelage of a mentor. This journey into consciousness, though deeply personal, often benefits from external perspectives, especially from those who have trodden similar paths. Here, the archetype of the shaman has a huge role to play, acting as a guide into our psyche. If you want to learn more about the archetype of the shaman and the psychology of the wounded healer, I suggest you watch Eternalized's video, which encapsulates this knowledge beautifully. Historically, mentors in esoteric traditions, whether they be Hermetic teachers or Jungian analysts, have assisted seekers in their inner quests. To practically apply this in modern times, one might consider seeking out mentors, spiritual teachers, or even joining study groups. It's also worth noting Jung's emphasis on the role of a guide when navigating the depths of the psyche. He believed that the vast landscapes of the unconscious were best explored with a knowledgeable and enlightened companion. He who is taught only by himself has a fool for a master. In the quest to harmonize dual natures, one embarks on a journey that spans both the outer world of form and the inner realm of spirit. Drawing wisdom from Jungian psychology, esotericism, inner alchemy, and Hermeticism provides a rich tapestry of tools and insights to facilitate this inner marriage of opposites. The holistic benefits of this harmonization journey are manifold, from personal growth and enlightenment to a deeper connection with the universal rhythms. For those watching or listening, it's encouraged to integrate these practices into daily life, starting small if needed, and remembering that each step, each practice brings one closer to the desired inner harmony. The journey is ongoing, but with dedication and guidance, the path becomes clearer and the seeker more attuned to their authentic self. Now, all of this considered, I am also interested to hear your opinion. Which daily practice are you looking to try first and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to hear your thoughts, fellow mystic. If you want to delve deeper into the world of ancient wisdom and esotericism, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more insightful videos. And if you want to support my mission to unearth and decipher the forgotten teachings of the ancient mysteries and the encrypted knowledge of Western esotericism, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Until next time, continue to seek out the light. En tu pan.